Hi there, Dr. Gary here. Dr. Gary on the road. We are dental practice brokers nationwide. And today's topic is dealing with elderly landlords. Could be a little challenging. So we'll get into that now, what that's all about, and give you a summary. Before we start with that, we have now just opened up in our 26th state. So we're nationwide representing practices for sale in 26 states. We have 10 employees, 2 CPA accountants, a marketing director, also a operations director, 5 acquisition people, and we're moving along. We're answering the phone now from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. East Coast time. And we're there every day except Christmas and Easter. So just give us a call. We'll respond. If you just want to chat, get a feeling for what your practice is worth, call us. The information you're about to hear is for market entertainment purposes. It is not legal or business advice. So we're here to help you. Our number is 201-663-0935. And our website is dentalpracticeguide.com. I had practice for 25 years. I had 3 practices. I know what it's like on a buyer and seller end. So we can help you. Now, if you're thinking about selling to a big DSO, we can help you there too, because we know them all. We know the biggest ones, and we know what they're like on the inside, what they're actually like at the closing table, creating contracts, creating letters of intent, negotiating there with them. We know what it's like. We're there. We are in the infantry. We're on the ground floor. People have called us like the cop in the street, on the beat. We're trying to give you live information as it occurs. So please do give us a call. Remember, DSOs pay our commission, and sometimes we can get your legal fees reimbursed at successful closing, depending on criteria. Anyway, so we're dealing right now with an elderly landlord above the age of 70 who's been collecting rent from the seller for 28 years. Consistent rent, never misses, seller never complains. So the landlord is just collecting rents for 28 years and got used to it. Now the seller wants to sell, and the landlord is just being a little challenging. Essentially, the landlords don't want to see change. All they want is their rent every month with no complaints. And whenever there's going to be change, a new tenant coming in, they start to worry. They're not sure what the fair rent should be. They want to get their attorney. And if they're older, they get a little flustered. So you got to be careful. It's an emotional thing. The fact that the seller has been there for 28 years faithfully paying the rent is somewhat helpful. Sometimes they can communicate, but he's on the way out. Now, usually a seller will have a few years rent left, a couple of years, and the rent is generally assignable. However, the buyers need 10-year rent, 10-year lease, or else they can't do anything. The banks need a 10-year note. So now the seller starts getting challenging. And that's what we're going through right now. Challenging elderly seller. Doesn't want to see any change. And then they're wondering, is their rent a fair rent that they're charging? They get flustered. Some of them feel, well, if they don't have to deal with it, they'll just close their eyes and the deal will fall apart. They don't care, especially when they have a few years left. And especially now, as we're coming out of the pandemic, year 22, you would think landlords learned a lesson. But if a landlord had the same tenants for the last 20 years and nothing changed, it didn't affect them. So that's what you're up against. And we're doing the best we can. We have great dental attorneys on both sides. Landlord may or may not be bringing on a dental attorney. So what we're probably going to do is get a fair market analysis for the landlord to show them it's a fair rent that the doctor's paying. But you would think after 28 years of faithfully paying the rent, the landlord would at least be a little flexible. Doesn't mean that much, unfortunately. Landlord simply wants one thing: their rent every single month on the first, and no complaints. They don't want anything to rock the boat. As soon as there's change in the air, they panic. And if they're older, that's what it's like. It's almost like they're getting a Social Security check, but they're not guaranteed their rent. So that's what's happening right now. We're trying to deal the best on an emotional level. In situations like this, sometimes we'll get the seller to talk to them. Other times we'll go out and get a fair market rent for them to show them what the market is. But we'll do whatever we can to convince them. So that's what we're kind of up against right now. It's not easy. Remember, in these deals, you have a lot of moving parts. Buyer, seller, buyer's accountant, seller's accountant, bank attorney, buyer's accountant, seller's accountant, could be more than one accountant. There's so many things that are moving. And you're dealing with the bank and the bank attorney, so a lot of moving parts. In this deal, we're dealing with the landlord and the landlord attorney. So anything can go wrong at any time. There's no deal. It's never over until 5 minutes after successful closing. That is when it's over, 5 minutes later. So you've got to appreciate that. So we'll work with this. We're going to try to get a fair market appraisal of the rent from an outside party and present that to the seller, present that to the landlord. Maybe we'll win her over. My accountants will do an in-house audit analysis and supply that. We have that staff support to get that deal, get that done. And we do that. This is a small deal, but what are you going to do? You see the advantages of owning your own real estate. Believe me, you see the advantages. So we'll stay on top of this. We'll keep this deal moving, and we'll get motivated. And remember, for the seller, every day counts now. Every day that, the buyer could be in there making money. So it actually counts every day they're losing. And the seller's tired. They want this over. They've been doing it for 30 plus years. So they want to just get out. I can understand that. But there's always these moving parts. And now we got a moving part as the landlord. You got to deal with it. There's no deal that's done. And we're going to stay on top of it. With my resources and our experience, we'll stay on it. And sometimes the third party is the key one to get the answers. Third party now is going to be the outside real estate market appraisal of property rents, what they are. Okay, but landlords should be a little more flexible than they are, but I think eventually they'll come along. Older, they panic, they don't want to see change. So we are going through that now. All right? So give us a call if you have any questions. We're doing this for 12 years now. We're excited. We have tons of information for you. So we're happy to share that at any time. We always got your back in this business, so give us a ring. Thank you. Bye.